guys, and welcome back to Skins in the Game. I'm Tim. That over there is J-Dubs. How you doing today, J-Dubs?
Doing good. Doing good. Just laying low, staying out of trouble, or trying.
Yeah, we'll see. No, that's cool. Good deal, good deal. All right, we got some stuff to talk about today. Washington Commanders players back in the building for some off-season workouts. Ownership, a lot of ownership stuff popping off this past week. It might be imminent here. Could be as far as the owners meeting in May. This could be all said and done. We'll talk about that, including maybe Joe Gibbs being a part of the deal. And then we have a bunch of more draft stuff. We're going to go over Street Score's list of the top 30 prospects that we interviewed and who we've all made contact with. And then we're going to make a mock draft based on that list to finish it off, as well as Weddle. But we're going to start this show, as we do every show, with the dad joke of the week.
You and your mock drafts. You love them. But anyway, did you know that the first French fries weren't cooked in France?
Really? Where were they cooked?
In Greece.
Oh, hey, Momo's in the Caribbean.
Oh, nice.
But yes, they were cooked in Greece for the first French fries cooked. Do you think that's even true? Do you think the first French fries were cooked in Greece?
I don't think French fries came from France at all, is my understanding. But
that I don't know. Yeah, that might even be true. I have no idea. Oh, hot takes on the food takes. We got, of course. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Anyway, good one. Well done. All right. So before we get into some Washington Commanders stuff, the NBA playoffs are going off, and Draymond Green started some controversy. He got suspended, and Dad doesn't think that he should actually be in trouble here. He has thoughts.
No, I said. Let me just clarify first.
Okay.
I said I think the obvious thing is he did it on purpose, but then when you watch it, I try to look at it from a devil's advocate kind of position, and maybe he didn't really do it on purpose. So show the video. So I'm not saying I know he didn't. I just like to look at things from a different angle, and it looks like it's possible that it wasn't really his intent to stomp the guy on the chest.
All right, so we're going to look at it here. So here's Draymond Green. The shot goes up. Sabonis falls to the ground, grabs his foot, and then apparently stomps on his chest and got a technical, ejected from the game, and suspended for a game. They're going to get another angle at this. And he is really selling it right here.
Oh, I was going to say Academy Award for the act on the floor. But yeah, watch. He grabs his foot.
Okay, so here's Draymond. Sabonis falls to the ground, grabs him, and then he stomps right there and jumps off of him. And we'll look at it again from this angle.
Seeing how his whole upper body goes down. If you're stomping on somebody like that, you're not collapsing your body. It was almost like he was trying to minimize, like, my foot's going down there, so I'm going to try to minimize the impact. But
let's see the slow-mo one more time. It's interesting. You know what? I'm not going to lie. When I heard about this, I just assumed he did it out of anger, and he just stomped the crap out of him after he grabbed him. And, of course, we do know Draymond's history of being a little bit scummy. I think he's literally kicked a dude in the nuts before, and he's been suspended multiple times, tons of technical fouls, known to be a guy that definitely can cause trouble. This one was definitely oversold, in my opinion. Yeah. Right? Like, he got grabbed. He was leaning forward. I do agree with this. Like, he was about to go down court. And then he comes down on... I don't know. Do you think he meant... Also, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. The sell job Sabonis is doing right now. It's interesting.
The soccer world would be proud.
Who?
The soccer world would be proud.
The soccer world. Yeah. So I think he did it on purpose, as Yuki Anonymous's cap. I don't know. That's interesting. But either way, he was suspended a game. I do actually think, with that one angle here, he's not leaning as much as I thought he was.
Yeah, but watch how his whole body goes. You don't stomp. If you're stomping somebody, your upper body goes up. It doesn't collapse. And it's like his whole body is dropping as he does it. Like, I'm trying to minimize the step. So
the damage, you're right. And then he's trying to jump over his legs here. He just wants to get out of there. I do think this is a ridiculous sell job. He didn't really do any damage. Cool, he stepped on him. He shouldn't have grabbed his leg. Honestly, I think Sabonis should be suspended just as much then. If you're going to grab people's legs, potentially knocking them over and hurting an ankle or something stupid like that, I don't know. I do think this was kind of blown out of proportion. I'm glad you had me bring this up because I think...
And look, I'm fine that
it could have been a lot worse.
Right. I'm fine with him getting ejected from the game. It's like, okay, they said it was a flagrant foul, fine. Throw him out of the game. But then to suspend him a game on top of that, I agree with you. I don't think that this whole thing is as serious as it makes it. Oh, really?
Yeah, really bad take. They disagree. And it's probably because Draymond's history and whatnot.
Reputation follows you. I know it. That's what I said to you earlier.
Like, if this was Ndamukong Suh, he would be getting none of the benefit of the doubt either.
Oh, no.
None of the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't care. It's whatever. As far as Draymond Green is concerned, the Warriors are getting beat with him or without him, I think, at this point. They're down 2-0 in the series to Sacramento. De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, that crew right now is looking really strong, especially offensively. So they're probably going to be eliminated either way.
Again, I wanted to clarify to the board. I'm not saying I'm not making a determination here. I just was looking at it from a different angle that maybe it wasn't as serious as Sabonis made it out to be. And anyway, but yeah, you're right. I don't care. I haven't watched either one of the games.
Yeah. But so I think he did it on purpose, but I don't even blame him because there's no reason for you to just grab someone's ankle and then cry when you get the payback. Yeah, the
that's a good take too.
This face right here is comical, in my opinion.
That is a soccer face. I'm sorry, and I don't watch soccer either. But you watch the guy. Yeah, a guy bumps into or a guy hits somebody's leg and they're flopping around on the ground.
Oh, that is hilarious.
I love the video. I don't know if you've seen it where they compare soccer to hockey and they show this guy in soccer flopping around on the ground because he barely gets hit. And they show Ovi for the Capitals sitting on the bench and this puck comes by and nails him in the mouth. And he reaches up and he goes, okay. And he just keeps talking to the guy like, okay.
Oh, that's too funny. That's too
crying
funny.
like he got whooped by his mom.
Well, there you go. All right, well, Washington Commanders, we're back in the building. Here's some video of that. And yes, so it's some off-season workouts, so nothing major here. Majority of the team did show up. And then, of course, you had the new coaching staff. There's Deron Payne and company coming on into the facility, I should say. There's Sam Howell. He was interviewed by Julie Donaldson and just asked a few questions about, how does it feel to be the QB1 and running with the ones and whatnot. It's fun to see.
It looked like Ron Rivera lost some weight, too. He looked very svelte.
Yes, he looks. There's Chase Young coming into the building. Cameron Curl.
Man, he's got that hoodie's holding in a lot of hair. he had that thing stacked up like 5 inches over his head.
Getting an ad. But yeah. There's Scurry Terry. So very cool that we're getting a little bit back to football. Jahan Dotson, of course, first round pick last year. Back on to the field. How important do you think these workouts are for... there's always that take every year in and year out. Some players miss it because they're doing. I think Chase Young missed these last year because he was doing different commercials and whatnot, or 2 years ago, whatever it was, and it was all that talk.
Well, I think that the benefit of it is the potential for building chemistry. To get the guys in early, they're all there. They all don't have to be there. They're there because they want to be there, and they start hanging out together. I think that's important. If guys can't make it, I'm not necessarily, holding that against them. But the fact that the guys in there are having fun, doing a little workout, hanging out with each other, I think that's can be important from a chemistry building perspective. Is my take on it.
Yes, I do agree. The biggest thing that I think is important coming out of these OTAs, or the off-season workouts, are routes with Sam Howell, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. Those are if those are the only three that showed up, I would actually be okay with it. I think that is the most important. Getting their timing down, understanding their speed, their routes, where they want to break. That right there is the most important thing in my opinion. And I want to see many, many throws. As many throws as they can get from Sam Howell to Terry and Jahan. I'm here for
that's important. I agree. 100%.
Thoughts on Joe Mixon potentially being let go by Cincinnati? Would you take him for I would take him for sure. Why would Cincinnati let go of Joe Mixon? That sounds ridiculous. I know running backs are not extremely valued, but he is a top-tier running back. I wonder why would they be letting him go? That's interesting.
Hold on. Keep talking. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Would
you trade for Trey Lance? Nope. I got my quarterback, and we are all set with Sam Howell on this team. That's who I'm here for. I'm all about Sam Howell this season. But did you find anything on Joe Mixon real quick before I hop into some ownership stuff? Somebody asked earlier, what's your take on Brian Davis? We're going to get to that shortly. Because it said if Joe Mixon doesn't take a pay cut, then they're going to let him go? A pay cut? Isn't he on his rookie deal? Still?
Yeah, this New York Post is saying that if released by Bengals if he doesn't accept pay cut. A bunch of different places are reporting it that the Bengals are asking him to take a pay cut. And so, I mean, New York Post, SB Nation, Daily Mail, USA Today. So it's apparently out there that they're asking him to take a pay cut.
Oh, no, he did get another deal. No, he did get another deal. Okay. Wow.
What do you mean, got another deal?
As in, not his rookie deal. He was drafted in 2017. And so he played until 2020, and then he got another deal from Cincinnati. It's only a $12.7 million cap hit. What is the Cincinnati's cap situation? And can they even let him go? Do they even... This is... Of course, my computer's acting like...
So let's see.
Stuck in mud.
So in 2022, he had 814 yards on a 3.9 average, 7 TDs, 60 receptions. 2021 had 1205 yards, 4.1 average, 13 touchdowns. And in 2020, he had only on 119 attempts, he had 428 or 3.6. And then in 2019, 4.1 yards per rush.
What do they need the money for? They have $16.5 million still. They have to be in the top 6, top 7 in cap space right now.
I mean, 3.9 average per yard, or 3.9 yard. I didn't think that's bad. I mean, you do that if you average. You can get a first down every time if he gets 3.9 yards a carry.
Yeah, usually the good running backs, though, are averaging over 4.5. And then really good ones, like top tier, are averaging over 5.
Well, and
they need the money to extend Joe.
The best in since 2017 was 4.9 in 2018. He's got 4.1, 3.6, 4.1, and 3.9 since then. His career average is 4.1 a carry, and he has a total of 40 TDs over 6 years.
That's interesting. That's worse than I thought it would have been, to be honest.
Yeah,
Man, they're going to try to save $7.2 million by getting rid of Joe Mixon. That's an interesting decision.
Well, my take on that is, do they have somebody behind him that they feel like
they
can
could
do?
save $10 million do it. But go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, do they have someone behind him that they feel is just as good as him that they're paying a lot less, where they're like, we don't have to pay you that money?
They definitely don't have somebody just as good as him. I know that for sure. Now, $10 million or $11 million less better than him, or good as him, probably. Also, they could draft a running back and probably get somebody that's really competent. And I mean, running backs come out the gate typically and be really good, and then they start to fade as they get older. So, honestly, I wouldn't actually hate this decision. And realizing now, Joe Mixon is not that young. He's 20. He is young still. He's under 27.
He's 6 years in the league, so 27, 28. Let me see.
So he got drafted at 20 years old? I wouldn't want Joe Mixon.
Starting. I'm looking at the backup. Deion Williams is...
Losing you a little bit, Dad.
16 item.
Losing you.
And
don't forget Mixon is in legal trouble again. Oh, is he in legal trouble again? I hear you now. What are the teams asking about Trey Lance? Several teams are asking about him, according to the 49ers. I hope not, because he's terrible. Yeah, we probably asked. I mean, that's just who we are. We always ask. We're in everything, right? But I don't think we're actually in serious contention for going after Trey Lance. I don't see that happening. But we're excited. We also don't have a lot of money right now. We only have, $3 million in cap space, if that, right now? $2.4 million. So we don't have a ton of money. We're happy where we are as far as the roster build, and we're going to have to pay our rookies, right? We're going to have to cut somebody just to pay the rookies right now. We're rocking with Sam Howell, and we signed Jacoby Brissett. That's who we got, and that's what we're doing. All right.
See, and that's the sad part about the whole salary cap is I understand it was initiated because you had really rich teams and teams that didn't have a lot of money. So they tried to do a salary cap to make sure that the rich teams didn't buy up all the talent. But I think it's a double-edged sword because if you raise the cap space, then players are going to start getting more money. And I'm not talking about the lower guys. I'm talking about the $50 million Jalen Hurts contract. He gets 5 years, 250. Was it 5 for 250? And so,
yeah, 5 for 251. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even forgot to bring that up as in the thing. Did you like to see that deal?
I'm fine. I'm fine with it, but again, I'm all about players getting what they can get. But I've said it before that people think that it's the billionaires paying for it. The billionaires aren't paying for it. The fans are.
Right.
So the more money they make, the more everything's going to go up, but it's going to affect the fans. It's not going to affect the billionaires' bottom line. But my point is, what's the salary cap, like 230? Is it still around 230 million?
Yeah,
or something like that?
Yeah, that's close enough. Yep.
So if they made it 300 million, then deals like Jalen Hurts would now be making 70 million a year because owners have the ability to, or teams have the ability to expand their offers because they got more to work with. I'd like to think at this point you could go without a salary cap, but then salaries would be getting outrageous. And again, it's going to hurt the fan, not the owner.
Right.
So again, I'm not hating on Hurts. Get 60 million a year if you can. God bless you. I'm not hating on any of the players for getting what they can get. I'm just saying that eventually the bottom is or the top, or whatever you want to call it, is going to be reached because fans aren't going to be paying $500 a ticket to pay somebody $100 million a year.
True.
And I know I just threw numbers out there, but you get my point. Hey, Robert, how you doing?
What up? Yeah, I agree, MP. We're not doing that for sure. Okay. Ownership. A lot of stuff going on with
drama
ownership.
Continues.
Yeah, and it's heating up. This could all be done by the owners meeting coming up next month. Josh Harris's group, who apparently is one of 18 other people that are a part of the deal, and one of those is rumored, apparently not confirmed, but rumored to be Joe Gibbs himself, to be a part owner. Just how would you feel if Joe Gibbs was a part of this ownership group?
I'm fine with it, but to me, it doesn't impact anything unless he's got enough of an ownership where he's actually given his input.
Yeah.
Because I think he's a great talent evaluator. Maybe the game's passed him by. I don't know, but you see how he runs his NASCAR teams, and he just runs things very well. But is he going to be like a Magic Johnson where he's going to have input on it and lead it, or is he just doing this because, hey, I want to be a part owner of the Redskins?
I think he's just going to be a part owner. He's old now. Like, I don't think he wants to be that involved. I mean, good for him if he did. I would expect it to be more of just a symbolic thing, but I think it's still pretty awesome if Joe Gibbs is a part of the deal. And if Joe Gibbs is signing off on it, I'm also happy about that, right? So, oh, what up? That's your son and my brother, I think.
Kenny,
what's up? How's it going? But anyway,
sure. I have to hear from him on the podcast.
Yeah, that's how you have to get a hold of him. You have to go live. No, but okay. But I was excited about Joe Gibbs. Somebody asked a good question. In your guys' opinion, what should the first move be of the new owners?
What do you mean first move? Rule changes? What are you talking about?
No, for the owner. For the new owner.
Sorry.
For Washington Commanders, what should be the first order of business?
Reduce the prices of beer at the stadium. This is from a long-time season ticket holder. So
there you go. That's a good one. I like it. Yeah, reduce prices. Yeah, that'd be the day. No, I think, in my opinion, the first thing of ownership, the only thing they should care about this season, if they let's say it gets accepted May, and sometime this summer they officially everything gets handed over. I only really, because I don't want them to do anything football related yet, because it's going to be too close to the season. You can't fire the coach. You can't do anything like that. I would like them to change the name, but I just don't think that's happening. I think the first thing they should do is really start hammering and negotiating with DC to take over the RFK spot. I think that's what the first thing. That would be my suggestion. And because I don't want to move it to Virginia. I don't. Because if I do go to games, I don't want to have to drive all the way down there. Especially not off 95. World's biggest parking lot. Like, don't send it down there. It would be horrific for that to be where the stadium is. So put it back in DC.
The Commanders is such a terrible name. Red Wolves, Red Hogs. I still think something with red in the name, maybe they can get that. I know that I've seen discussions where change the name back to the Redskins. Not happening. Will never happen. That is
anonymous.
That ship has sailed. But if they could do something where they go back to something with red in the name, although not the red.
Oh, Red Wolves.
Yeah.
I would love the Red Wolves. You're not a fan of the Red Wolves?
What's that, me?
Yeah.
No, I think that's great. I think
okay.
Anything with red in it.
Yeah.
Not Red Tails. We talked about this already.
No, yes.
But Red Hawks.
Fine history, but not the name that I want it to be.
I mean, Red Hawks, Red Wolves, Red Hogs, something with red in it would be great, because then they could go back to the original song, which I think they really strained to rewrite the song. Just my opinion.
Yeah. Audi Field is not big enough, Yuki. It's not going to be enough room. First move the owner should do is bring in every priest they can find to perform an exorcism on this organization and finally get rid of the curse Dan brought in.
I would pay to see that.
that's a good one. Change from Bud Light to Coors. You heard about the Bud Light situation?
You know, I listened to what one guy said that made so much sense is that person does not drink Bud Light, won't drink Bud Light, and nobody like them drinks Bud Light. Bud Light is a sports person. Like, could you imagine seeing them at a Redskins game or a football game? No, it's like, oh yeah, let's target the.
I have a name for it, but I can't say it on air. And it does. I honestly, I don't really give a crap. I don't drink Bud Light anyway. I don't really. I don't beer. Either. I'm not a beer guy, but yeah, you've never really drank Bud Light. I know you drank Heineken for a while.
If I go out, I like Stella. I like a beer with a little more taste. So Stella. I drink Sam Adams Oktoberfest. I like some IPAs, but Bud Light's just like water to me. So
yeah,
if I was in a bind and somebody handed me a Bud Light, I'd probably drink it. But I'm never, ever going out anywhere and ordering a Bud Light. So yeah, it makes no difference to me. I just think trying to target 1% of the population with a influencer that doesn't drink the beer. I'm sorry, they don't.
I don't know if they do or not, but honestly, I just thought it was
wine
funny.
Coolers or
yeah. As I said, I have a name that I just like to call it now because I just think it's hilarious. It starts with a Q. I say Q drinking beer. That's all. And if you can figure it out, good deal. If not, it's fine. I just thought it was funny.
Saying I'm better off drinking AWE. I'm sorry, I'm not getting the reference.
You're better off drinking AWE. I don't know. PBR all the way, by the way. Oh, wow. PBR. Okay. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah, that's one you can get a 30-pack for like $15.
Would you be okay with the new ownership changing the colors to red, white, and blue?
Beer. Yes. The colors of the red or the
Commanders
football team to red, white, and blue?
Because right now, all the other DC teams are red, white, and blue. Except the DC Defenders. The DC Defenders are not red, white, and blue, right?
Well, then we'd look an awful lot like the Patriots.
They're like a red and white.
They got blue in their uniform, too. I know not much, but they're red, white, and blue, thus the Patriots.
Yeah. The Giants are red, white, and blue right now. I personally don't want to see the colors change at all. I want burgundy and gold. Like, the colors are, like, the most important thing. Right? Like, you don't even need to own literal Redskins or Commander gear. As long as you wear burgundy, a burgundy jacket, it could be McNamara High School that my wife works at. It could be something, their colors are actually maroon. But either way, even if you wear something like that, you count. Yeah, like change everything else, but to keep the colors.
Yeah, I kind of like the colors too. It's like when the Caps and the Wizards went with that silver, blue, and remember how they switched colors for a while, and then they finally, I think, what's his name? The owner, Ted
Leonsis. Yep.
Yeah, he went when he bought the teams. He was like, okay, we're going back to red, white, and blue because that's what they were. And nation's capital, I get it, but burgundy and gold, it's something about saying that. It's like, what other team, and this is an honest question, what other team could you walk up to somebody and say burgundy and gold, and they know you're talking about the Redskins? What other team out there, green and yellow? Or if you walked up to somebody and went green and yellow, they'd be going, oh, okay, what are you talking about? Yeah. I know it's the Packers, but burgundy and gold, people know what that means.
Especially in our area. But yeah, in our area for sure. You know what the burgundy and gold stands for. If you say red, white, and blue, now you're just a part of the rest of it.
Yeah.
Burgundy and gold could be throwback. I just don't think I'm fine with the name I did not want the name change. I know he's saying, like, get over it, stop holding on to him. I mean, yes, the name is gone, but the colors are still there. This is not gone. And I want Red Wolves. That's what I would want the name to be changed to, because I have accepted that the name's never coming back. It is what it is. It's just the world we live in.
Anonymous, that's a done deal. That's already a done deal. That's not even on the table. I would even accept Red Hogs in deference to the Hogs. But something...
All right. Yeah, I feel that. Okay, here we go. Back to this ownership thing. So, we mentioned the Joe Gibbs thing. Josh Harris apparently now has put an official offer in, and they've already got corrections back. So there is some things that weren't added up right as far as some specific numbers or verbiage or anything like that. But according to Street Scores Video, who found it on Twitter, it's nothing major. It's nothing that can't be fixed. It's very common contract negotiation things. So it seems like that should be a done deal as far as it being confirmed. Now it's whether Dan Snyder will agree, because it's not been hard agreed to. It was agreed on principle, but he is playing coy in case a bigger offer comes up, which we will get into in a minute. But sticking on this deal, so majority of the money will be paid up front, with $250 million to be paid over the next 2 years.
Which I find funny. If the offer is $6 billion, that'd be kind of like me buying a car for $20,000 and paying $19,500 and saying, "Hey, I'll pay the $500 over the next 2 years."
Yeah, it's very odd that's how they do it, but I guess that's just how it works. So Josh Harris would be a 30% owner, so not a majority owner. He would only be he would have the biggest slice of the pie, if you will, but he will not be a 51% owner, such as like a Dan Snyder. Do you find that to be interesting at all as far as...
Well, I thought we talked about last week, I found where they said the majority owner had to be, or the biggest owner had to be 40%.
No, it was 30. What you found was 30. It was like $1.8 billion or something like that he had to be.
Yeah, okay. I don't care about the numbers. It's like, just get freaking Dan out of there already.
True. I just thought it was interesting because now I just want to know how big a percentage would be Magic Johnson, Joe Gibbs. Like I would like a breakdown, I guess, of like where is everybody at as far as the percentage owner? Because if Magic is a 10% owner, he's not that far off anymore from being the biggest portion. So he would actually have a legit voice at that point. Because at first I thought Josh Harris was going to be, like a 70% owner, and he's adding in some other guys, and he would be the overwhelming voice. If he's only a 30% owner, that changes the dynamics a lot, in my opinion.
Well, according to this, Magic Johnson's net worth is $620 million.
Mm-hmm.
So, assuming he's not giving away all of his money, but I get your point.
Ooh, Magic Johnson's 4%. Apparently that was out there. I missed that part. Okay, so Johnson's 4%. Somebody send a link in the chat if you have it where the complete breakdown is. Or you can look for it, Dad. So Magic Johnson's 4%. So
which means there are... I was just going to say, with Harris and Magic Johnson, you got 34%. There's got to be a lot of people involved in this deal to get to 100%.
Yeah. I messed up. I should apologize, Yuki. I shouldn't have eaten ice cubes. My habit is when I drink water with ice in it. I usually don't put ice in it, but my wife did. But I appreciate her bringing it over. But yeah, whenever there's ice in it, I immediately just go to chewing on ice. And so I shouldn't have done that.
I work around the ice. You'll never see me chewing on ice.
It's just a habit for me. But anyway, okay. Interesting to know that Magic Johnson's 4%. That's cool. And I wish it was more, because Magic Johnson's my favorite part of this whole thing. I think Magic Johnson knows how to run an organization. He's shown it multiple other sports. I think he has relationships. He has a star power that many players would love to go under and play under him. And
so here's a
he's
question.
got a good charisma and everything, but go ahead.
Right. So is it possible that they want to give Magic Johnson some kind of front office position, and his deal was, if you let me be part owner, I will consider that. So whether it's president, not GM, I don't think he's going to go that far, but some kind of front office presence where he's in all the meetings and he's guiding the team on where to go. I don't know what the precedence is for that, but I just thought, hey, maybe he's like, if you let me be part owner, I'll come in and work with your guys to get them going in the right direction. So that 4% may just be a little nugget they sent him. Because you think about it, Dan Snyder in 97, I think it was 97, bought the team for $600 million.
Mm-hmm.
25 years later, he's getting $6 billion.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hell of an investment.
You know, I actually did the math. It was actually, I think, closer to $800 million that he bought it for. I actually did the math. It's actually not that much different if he just put it in the S&P 500. If he took that money and just invested it in the S&P 500, he would basically get the same return.
There's no way. It's like a 500% or basically 1,000% increase in what he bought. I don't think the S&P 500 is giving you 1,000% interest.
Over 25 years?
Yeah.
S&P 500 worth in 98. Can I find that? S&P 500 worth 98. Okay, so the S&P. So if you spent $100 in 1998, it would now be worth $681. So if it's 800 to 6 billion, that's not too far off of 1 billion to 6.8, as far as the math is concerned.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but also consider how much he made during the process of owning it.
Theoretically, he made a lot of money that way. That's true. I think they make, actually not there. I think they make $200 million a year. Owners do, or something like that, as far as what they actually take home is what I feel like I read. So that's a big part of it too. So that's an extra, on average, if he made $100 million, let's say a year over the last 25 dollars, so that's an extra 2.5 billion from.
Yeah, it's
revenue.
A pretty good investment. No matter how you slice it, it's a pretty good investment.
Oh, it's it's you could have done worse. You could have invested in Blockbuster or something. Yeah, you could have done worse for sure. Mark In is his name. The Washington Castles. Did you actually mean the Washington Castles? What is the Washington Castles owner? I don't know what that is. Mark Ian.
What are they, like the nation's capital's chess team?
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting question. But, okay. So sticking on the ownership thing, but now we're going to go to the other deal. Brian Davis is very interestingly shady in this whole thing. He went on the radio to the Sports Junkies, right? The DC tennis team. Is that real? That's too funny. Oh, gosh. All right. But anyway, he went on to the Sports Junkies, and they asked him directly, so with this offer that you're putting in, are you saying that your net worth is in the billions? And he said, yes. Right? It's pretty much straight up. Yes. That's what I'm saying. They were mind blown, and they were like, hold on, we have to ask more. You are actually worth this. And then, slowly but surely, they kept asking and prodding in different ways, and what you majored in, what's this, what's that. And basically, My partners are billionaires. So it seems like he's just talking out of the side of his mouth, pretty much everything he was saying.
Who is this guy, Brian Davis? What's his claim to fame or whatever?
Yes, so that's another thing. It's so shady. Of like, you can't really find out how he's worth this much money. And some people are speculating it's Saudi Arabian money coming in, or I don't know, oil money. It's very shady. He also has a bad past of not paying back loans. Apparently, he's been sued several times, like 4 or 5 times, for big money that he hasn't paid back loans that people had offered him in the past. But he apparently sold his intellectual property, not specific at all, by the way, intellectual property, to these partners. That this is where he's getting his money from.
He was a former basketball player?
Yes, he was a basketball player for the Duke Blue Devils, and he got picked up, I believe, by the Minnesota Timberwolves. He never really made it in the NBA, but yes. And then apparently he majored in, like, African American studies or something. I mean, I don't know exactly how that gets you to worth billions, but... Sorry, you're breaking up. I can't really hear you.
Larry Brown Sports. Sorry, you can't hear me now?
You're breaking up a little bit. He said he got his money from white people, Jews, and Italians and Sicilians. Yeah. I don't know exactly what that means. I did hear this, too. It's weird.
Yeah, according what I just read from Larry Brown Sports was one of his backers was from Israel, another one was from Saudi Arabia. So he is bringing in the owners are not going to go for that, I don't think, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. It is very shady. The whole thing seems very odd and weird, and I hope he doesn't actually, because apparently he said that he could have $6 billion within 24 hours, and the other billion, no, sorry, he could have $1 billion in 24 hours. That's what I meant to say. $1 billion in 24 hours to give to Dan, and he could have the other $7 billion by the end of the week. That is wild if he actually comes out with that.
No, what I think it is, from what I just read, is it's Saudi Arabia, which has got tons of money, and this other person from Israel that's going to pump money into him because they want to get their hand in the NFL. So I think that makes it dead at the pass. If the owners let Saudi Arabian people, Israel, fine, but Saudi Arabia, with their history and what they've done, if they let their money get into the NFL, I'm going to have a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I just don't like that it's so weird and shady and sketchy, and he's lying through his teeth. Like, he's not being upfront at all about what he's doing or what's going on. Like, you listen to Magic Johnson, and I don't get any of those feelings. Maybe he's a better liar. I don't know. Just kidding. But no, I think he's being a genuine person. There's nothing about it. But Brian Davis, when I was listening to him on the radio, it's like, you sound like you're full of crap. And I hope, as one said, yeah, guess I shouldn't have said anybody but Snyder. Because that sounds like freaking Snyder 2.0. Or in a weird way. I don't know. It sounds like, I don't know. It could be weird. Screw put Cheris' owner.
Well, and how does the whole thing, how does this whole thing work where in one breath, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but in one breath it said that there's now an official offer and the owners are potentially going to meet on it in May. Mm-hmm. And I know they keep this intentionally obtuse where you don't know what's going on, but it's like, if there's an official offer.
Well, no, sorry, I can bridge this. I think I know where you're going with this. Right now, Dan Snyder and this group agreed on principle, but there's nothing that says, like, if approved, Dan is agreed. So they put together their offer, they're getting it approved by the league, and Dan Snyder still has the ability to accept or not accept. Like, it's not like an offer sheet on a house where you say, you both sign the paperwork. If everything approved, if I'm buying your house, if my finances are approved, then you're going to sell it to me, and you already signed the paperwork agreeing to selling to me. It's as if I'm putting in my finances to say, I have enough money to buy your house, but you haven't agreed to sell it to me yet. I'm just getting approval that I have the money.
So it's the equivalent of writing in pending a home inspection, because the home inspection gives you an out for the slightest thing. They could say, this outlet was a problem. I'm out.
Yeah.
Don't want it now.
But for the owners, of the already owners, it's like the opposite. Like, pending inspection, like, protects the buyer. This is like protecting the owner. Like, the owner can say, nah, I'm good. Brian probably got a cryptocurrency. Yeah, that could be. Maybe he just got into Dogecoin at the right time. Yeah. That's too funny. But anyway, all right. I hope we don't get Brian Davis. I'm all in on Magic Johnson and company. That's who I want. And really cool if Joe Gibbs gets in on ownership.
Agreed.
For sure. Okay. So we're going to finish on this one on some draft stuff. Next week will be the final mocks with me and you. You do your research, J-Dubs. I'll do mine. And we're going to come up with our best mock next week, because next Thursday, not tomorrow, but the week from tomorrow, is draft day. We are so close to the NFL draft. But before we actually do it, we're going to do another mock, because everybody, we got to do a mock.
By the way, everybody, okay? Tim loves his mock drafts.
I'm the best mocker of all time. Okay.
I think it's a wasted effort, but I like.
Of course, it's a wasted effort. Along. But it's fun. Okay, so Street Scores, shout out Street Scores, has put together a list of everybody that Washington has showed interest in. He's been updating it throughout the process. You can see here it's a big, long list. And the most recent thing he put on was the top 30 visits in the local pro day on April 11th. So we've had official meetings, the top 30 visits or whatever. I asked you this last year. So you're allowed to bring 30 players to your facility. Can you see it okay? I tried to zoom.
Oh, now I can see it.
I tried to boost it up a little bit. Can you see it okay?
Well, I had to put my glasses on.
Okay.
My reading glasses, but I can kind of see it now.
All right. So I'm going to ask you this first, though. If you had 30... So obviously there's hundreds and hundreds of players. If you could only have 30 visits, how would you work this? Would you want to just see the ones you're really interested in? Would you see people that you're on the fence about? Would you really go all in on the earlier rounds and bring as many as those guys in as possible to make sure that you have the highest chance of getting those picks correct? Or, making sure you don't get a nutcase, you have somebody in your building? Would you spread it around? What would you do if you had the opportunity?
Well, I was wondering if Dan Snyder's team could get 30 people to agree to show up.
They actually got 31.
I thought that was kind of
list.
No, I know. But, I mean, I assume there's conversations going on before they invite them. So I think you invite the people that you think match your needs, but also match your mindset, or saying the right things like, I would love to come to Washington and play.
So you would bring in guys that you already feel really good about. See, this is the question. That's an interesting part. Because I think that Ron Rivera and company do the exact opposite. If they already feel good about you, they don't want you anywhere near the building, because they don't want to give any tells away that we're really interested in you. We don't want to say nothing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So they're only going to bring in guys that they're kind of on the fence about as far as personalities. Like,
guys they're not even interested in, so they could be a decoy to the rest of the league that, the Redskins are looking at him. Maybe we should look at him.
See, I think that would be... I don't think that that's it. See, I wouldn't like that. Maybe, but you're right. Maybe that is another option. I'm just saying now what I would do. But that is another option. Yeah. Do you throw complete red herrings out there and bring guys that you have no interest in drafting? I personally wouldn't, because now we're just wasting everyone's time and bring that. I think if you do, like, you like what you saw on film, but you have character concerns, you don't know exactly what kind of mindset he's in, like you were mentioning earlier. I have more of that mindset of, like, I think how I would do it, my top 30 visits would be only players in the top 75 players.
So Jarris has got an interesting take. 15
that?
O-line, 5 corners, 2 tight ends, 5 linebackers.
So he would do it based on position. I see what you're saying. I see it. Okay. That's another question. That's another point.
3 running backs. Okay.
I think how I would do it is only players in the top 75 picks that I'm bringing in. And here's why. I really want to make sure I hit on those first 2-3 rounds. And I want to have as much information on those top guys as humanly possible. But clearly, Ron Rivera and company disagrees, because they're all over the place. You can see here on our top 30 visits, we had 5 guys projected in the first round, 5 guys projected in the second round, 2 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, 3 in the seventh projections wise, and then they have about 10 or 11 guys that are not projected to be drafted.
And here's a question, and again, I don't know, but what's the average number of draft prospects invitations they get to teams? If you understand. So do they get 5? Do they get 3? Do they get 10? Depending, obviously it depends on your position, but if I'm a college student that's eligible for the draft and I get 20 invitations to go see teams, that's logistically next to impossible or a nightmare. So what's the average guy, again, a draft prospect, what's the average number of requested visits that he gets? I think that plays a part in it. Do you understand what I'm asking?
100%, yeah, because basically, if you're a single player that gets invited to 30 different visits, or 32 different teams, that's 32 days. And I don't think there's physically 32 days that they can show up.
That's
what
I'm saying.
What you're saying.
So maybe some of this has to do with, hey, this guy's already had a half a dozen visit requests, so he can't fit in another one.
That is a fair point, as far as, like, because it is only an invitation. I guess technically they can decline the players.
I would think.
Right.
I mean, think about it. If you are a top prospect and you know the teams that are in the top 10 picking, then you're going to go visit the top 10, people in the top 10 teams. The Redskins at 16? Are they at 16?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not going to go visit the Redskins because I'm going to be gone in the first 10 picks. Mm-hmm. So why would I go visit the Redskins? Not that I have anything against them, but so that.
Well, that's why I also said only players in the top 75. I only get 30 visits. I'm understanding that there's some guys that are not going to show up, but I think I hammer home the guys I'm really interested in the first, second, and third rounds. And I think that's how I would handle it. But maybe you're right. Maybe that's logistically impossible, and you have to kind of spread it out like these guys did. They did hit 10 in the first 2 rounds, 12 in the first 3. So a majority, or not a majority, but a good portion of their guys are in that top. 11 of them are in the top 75 projected prospects, according to the Draft Network big board. So
here's the question. Yeah. Out of the 30 people that the Redskins invited, how many of those only got an invitation from the Redskins?
That
0?
one I don't know.
No, I know you wouldn't. That'd be hard to tell.
I'm sure, as far as like the guys in the top 200 picks, I'm sure all of them had multiple to go to. multiple visits. You know, like I'm sure that, you know, like DeJuan Jones hit up several, Joey Porter, Devin Witherspoon. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, it's interesting as far as, are these guys actually going to get drafted? Because remember last year, the guy we ended up drafting in the first round, we had like no contact with. None. No meetings.
Well, none that you knew of.
Well, sorry.
There might have been a phone call. Yeah.
Public contact. Actually, I don't think there was any. I think Jahan Dotson said like he had like, I think he talked to like one random scout at the Senior Bowl or something. Like he never talked to like Ron Rivera, Martin Mayhew, Marty Herney, our wide receivers coach, Scott Turner. He never talked to anybody like that. I think he talked to like some random scout one time. It was at the combine, actually, I think. I think at the combine, he talked to like a random scout. So they like kept him away with a 10-foot pole, saying they have no interest in Jahan Dotson. That's why it hit all the fan base out of left field. Because nobody was talking about Jahan Dotson to Washington. First off, we were picking at 11, number 1, so we had to trade back to even get into that possibility. But even in a trade back scenario, nobody was talking about Jahan Dotson to us. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, maybe Ron and his team fancy themselves experts that other teams are watching to see what is Ron doing. Mm-hmm. So he feels like he has to hide it because he's a great evaluator of talent. And if he invites a player, then suddenly everybody else in the NFL, and I'm exaggerating, obviously, but it's like, oh, now there's a bunch of people that are going, hey, Ron Rivera just invited Joe Blow to come over and visit. We need to look at this guy because...
Well, it is important as far as like, okay, I know Washington is interested in said player, right? By the fact that they are bringing them in. Right? Let's say Devin Witherspoon. I know they're interested. If Devin Witherspoon is sitting there at pick 14, you know, like 2 picks ahead of Washington, we got to make sure we go trade up above because they have interest.
Right.
Like, otherwise, we're playing with fire that they're going to take them, right? And not that they only look at, like, okay, they had this meeting, but blah, blah, blah. But that there is that gamemanship for sure where that is 100% in the thought process of different coaches. But anyway, I love this list, though. Shout out to Street Scores again for putting this together. We are going to do a mock draft. Okay?
Yay.
Stop Street sharing. We're going to do a mock draft of drafting players only on this board. On his board. Where's my mock draft? Oh, I don't have the mock draft anymore? Hold on. Mock draft simulator. All right. We'll do the Pro Football Network one. So here's this. Here's this. All right. So if it's not on this list... Well, my computer's being very slow. Okay. If it's not on this list, we're not drafting him. That's how we're going to do
you just shrunk. You know what? I can't. Now you just shrunk it down to half the size. I can't see it even with my glasses. But
that's fine. I'm going to do this.
Good. I know.
You're going to tell me I'm crazy. Another thing I'm going to do to make this draft limited is I'm going to draft based on biggest need according to how many players they have looked at in the pool. So the number 1 need, according to this, we've looked at 32 offensive linemen. You know what? Let me send you this, actually, and then you can pull it up on your screen. That's an idea. I'm going to send you this link.
Yeah, but the problem is when I fire it up, it tends to break things up. So, but I'll do it.
All right. I send you the link. All right. You could pull this up in your own thing. So we're going to draft offensive linemen in the first round. We've looked at 25 different DBs. So we're going to draft corner in the second. Then the number 30 on this list is how many players in the particular position. We've looked at 11 different tight ends. So in the third round, we're going to go tight end. We're going to go edge rusher in the 4th, linebacker in the 5th, running back in the 6th, wide receiver in the 6th as well because we have 2 6th-round picks, and quarterback in the 7th. So we're going to be limiting ourselves on this as well. My guess is Brian Branch at 16. Let's take a look, says Anonymous. All right. So we're not gonna do any trades for this mock. So we're sitting here at 16, even though I am definitely one that wants to trade back for sure. If we can trade, I'm in to trade. Oh gosh. Can I can't move it now that I zoomed in too much. Okay, here we go. Now I can... Okay, good. All right, so here we are at pick number 16. So we've looked at Christian Gonzalez, who I'm assuming is already drafted. He's been, number 5 overall. We have Paris Johnson. So, right now we're going to draft... We said offensive lineman in the first round. So Paris Johnson, according to this, went at number 8. We have Broderick Jones is on the board. Nope, he drafted at 13. He's been moving up the boards. We have Peter Skorinski already off the board. So if I were to draft an offensive lineman at this point, it's either DeJuan Jones or Darnell Wright. I like them both, but I really like Darnell Wright. So I understand that Brian Branch would probably be the pick here. I like that. But you know what also? I'm going to say this real quick. You know who's not on this list at all? But yet is, according to his sheet, our third biggest need. My favorite player, Michael Mayer, is nowhere to be found on this list. But we did attend the Notre Dame Pro Day because we were interested in some other players. And Notre Dame is where Michael Mayer went. I will be so happy if Michael Mayer is the pick because he is not on this list, even though we looked at a bunch of tight ends. That would be massive. And I think he would be a dude that they wouldn't have any questions on. He seems, there's no character concerns. He's a super talented dude, has good film, he's got experience. Definitely a Martin Mayhew Ron Rivera guy. But anyway, I digress. Okay, I'm going to go with Darnell Wright. Since I'm forcing myself to take offensive tackle. So the next pick will be a DB, a corner. So a corner here. DJ Turner is on this list, and he's still available. Dude's an athletic freak, and relative athletic score of 9.59. Ran a 4.28 40-yard dash. He's 6 foot, 181 pounds. With an above average and proportional length, according to this. He was 5'11". You know what? He's not that big, actually, though. Hold on. Is Emmanuel Forbes still here, or did he already get drafted? He's probably already drafted, right? Because that's another guy on their list. Emmanuel Forbes. I don't know. Because that's the guy that what's-his-name said we're going to take. Louis T. I'm going to take DJ Turner. He's on the list. Blazing speed. I'm taking DJ Turner. All right, so now we're going tight end.
How tall is he?
He's 5'11", 180. So now we're going tight end here. If we went with the lead, or with not the lead, the biggest need according to this. So if we waited this long for a tight end, the one that's highest on the board would be Zach Kuntz, and another dude that relative athletic score 10. He's 6'7", 255 pounds from Old Dominion. Shout out Taylor Heineke's old school. Zach Kuntz, I know Bod has been talking about him for a while. He's coming off an injury. He probably would have been a second-round pick, but he's probably falling in the draft due to his, I believe he had a knee injury. Could be a steal here in the third round.
So that's like Gronk. That's like Gronk dimensions, right?
Oh, gosh. It's huge. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. 6'7", 255. Big boy. Okay, so we got our tight end. Next up, after the tight end position, we're going edge rusher to replace potentially these dudes. Who is on the list at edge as we get down this list? We have Adam Mitamoia Adbidobidorowe. He already got drafted. Okay. Edge rusher. Isaiah Foskey. Looks like he is already.
I want to see the name on
drafted.
the back of his jersey.
He's already been drafted. All right, looking more at edge. We have Eku Leota. Is apparently farther down the list on this one, I guess. I don't even see these. Like, Pro Football Network doesn't even have these guys listed on their thing, it looks like. I doubt they've already been drafted, right? They could have been, I guess. This is interesting. Oh, wait. Draft results. I'm looking at the wrong thing here. I guess they could have already been drafted. We're sitting here in the 4th round. All right, we're still looking for different edge rushers. The one I've been looking at, and mine is the guy from Ohio State. Oh, no, he's already gone. Okay, so Ohio State has been drafted around 3rd, 4th round. That's the guy that I've been looking for in my mocks. But he is not there this time. All right, so we're at pick 109. Where is the super long dude's name? Hilarious that these guys are on their list and not even listed anywhere on this thing. All right. A.D. Nope. He's not even listed according to this. That's crazy. Eku, is he on the list? He is. 580. He's 6'3", 263. No athletic school from Auburn. And then Thomas Incoom. Here we go. From Central Michigan. 6'2", 262. Extremely athletic. All right, I'm taking Thomas Incoom. That's who I drafted in the 4th round. Now, 5th round, we're going to take a linebacker. Let's see who the best linebacker available is. I like this guy, Dorian Williams. Very athletic. He is on the list. If we go down here, Dorian Williams was he was actually in our top 30 visits. If I remember correctly. Yeah, here he is. Dorian Williams out of Tulane. He was on our top 30, so that's who I'm going to go for in the 5th round. Off our list, we have a running back next. Let's see who our running backs are. So Israel Abanikanda. He's already drafted. I like him out of Pittsburgh, though. I've watched him play with Kenny Pickett when I was watching their film. Eric Gray. Let's see. It's hilarious the different... He must have already been drafted here because he's not on the list. Eric Gray. Evan Hull. Running back to Northwestern. 5'10", 209 with a 9.33. This could be a 3rd down back. He's got great size for a 3rd down back. Also a kick returner. All right, Northwestern running back. Come on down. We're going to go wide receiver next. Wide receiver later in this draft, according to this list. Okay. Looking here, we have Michael Wilson. Is he still available? Michael, nope. He is not available. Jake Bobo, we interviewed. He's got great size, 6'4". Not the most exciting prospect. Perry's been long gone. He's been moving up the boards. I think he's like a second-round pick now. On this, he's only listed at number 235 according to this big board. That doesn't sound right. Michael Jefferson. Louisiana. A 6'3", 199. He's a tall, lanky receiver with a streamlined frame and great functional length. Has excellent vertical speed for his size when he's able to open his strides. Can cover ground quickly with long strider explosiveness when he's in an open runway. Tracks the ball very well downfield and corral deep passes while maintaining stride. This is exactly the kind of dude I'm looking for. I want a receiver with size, but not somebody that's big and slow like a Cam Sims. He's an 8.68 relative athletic score, so he definitely has some...
Nice.
I love it. Okay. Interesting. And then the final pick, I believe, was a quarterback. So, last quarterback available that's been on this list. Let's see. Malik Cunningham is on the list, and we interviewed him. Louisville. Oh, he's only 5'11", 192?
I don't like the sound of that.
And he only threw 43 touchdowns in 33 games? Ooh, that's I'm not super interested. Tanner Morgan out of Minnesota. I'm not interested in this dude at all. Only 6'2", 4'3", he did not have a great statistical season for Minnesota. Why are we looking at him? That bugs me. Oh, those are the only quarterbacks we looked at? Malik Cunningham, and Tanner Morgan. Well, I have zero interest in Tanner Morgan. Absolutely zero. Dorian Thompson's already been drafted. I like him. I wish he was available.
How tall is Mahomes?
Mahomes, I want to say, is 6'2".
You think he's that big? I didn't think he was that big. Maybe he is.
I think he's 6'2", if I remember correctly. Yep, 6'2".
Ah.
All right, well, I guess we're drafting Lee Cunningham then. All right, here's our draft. If we were to draft off of need at every position according to, and off the list of guys that we have interviewed or made contact in any way, shape, or form, it would be Darnell Wright, DJ Turner, Zach Kuntz, Thomas Incoom, Dorian Williams, Evan Hall, Michael Jefferson, and Malik Cunningham. How would you feel about that draft?
I'm fine with it. And I might change my mind by the end of December, but
right. I wouldn't hate this draft. I really wouldn't. I think this would be a random...
Because you just made it. Why would you hate it? You made all the choices.
Well, this is obviously out of my... What I liked about doing it this way is it forces me to kind of look into guys that I'm not used to. Like, I've never drafted Zach Kuntz in a mock draft. Thomas Incoom I'd never heard of. Dorian Williams I did like. Evan Hall was somebody that was completely new to me. Michael Jefferson was new to me. I didn't realize Malik Cunningham was only 5'11". I knew of Malik Cunningham from Louisville before this, but yeah. I did like Darnell Wright, and I did like DJ Turner. This is not my ideal mock draft, but I think I can live with this. I think I can live with it. That's a terrible draft? Why is it a terrible draft, Roger? I got you an offensive lineman. You wanted a big ugly.
Roger just likes to stir the pot. He just likes to tweak you. Maybe
I drafted a first round offensive lineman. What's wrong with that one? I got us a corner with incredible speed, 4.28. I got us a very athletic tight end with tremendous size. Could be a steal out of the third round. I got us an edge rusher to replace Chase Young or Montez Sweat if either of them leave. I got us a linebacker. We know how much linebacker's a problem. I got us a third down back that could be a return dude. I got us a receiver with size. The quarterback was terrible. I agree with that. I don't like the quarterback, but I'll live with it if this is the draft that we got. All right, we're ready to end this with Wordle and call it a day. Or
Yeah,
Weddle,
see,
rather.
Roger just likes tweaking you. That's what he just did the smiley laughing face.
It's okay, I guess. Would be the fastest guy on our team, right?
All right, so Weddle, we're going to go with Mixon.
Mixon, I like it. Go with Joe Mixon. All we got is he's 24 or 25. It is a lower number than 28. So we can have a receiver or quarterback taller than 6'3". So 6'4" or 6'5".
So he's in the NFC, right?
In the NFC, correct. Yes.
What
So
about Hurts?
Hurts is only 6'1". So that's not it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Davis Mills? No, that's AFC. It's got to be NFC. Ooh, Ritter? Is Ritter that old, or is he only 23? He is only 23. Okay. It's not a quarterback. Good to know. So we're either 6'4" or 6'5". I thought Desmond Ritter was 6'4". Okay. So we're probably looking at a big receiver. Mike Evans? No, Mike Evans is too old. A big receiver in the NFC. Also, it's not NFC South. DK Metcalf. That's it. It's DK. It's not DK? Oh, he fit everything so well. Numbers in between, age in the right range, 6'4" wide receiver in the NFC, but not the NFC South. Wow, that hurts my feelings. Okay. Then
so under
continuing.
25.
Yeah, so 24-year-old wide receiver in the NFC North or NFC East. 24-year-old wide receiver in the NFC North or East. So NFC North.
6'2", you said?
6'4". And he's... Is it... No, how old is he? No, he's got to be too old. Also, that's AFC. Never mind, hold on. Huh. This is tough. A 6'4" wide receiver at 24.
So the NFC...
It's either NFC North or NFC East. Is it Sime Fayoko? No, he's only listed at 6'3". Okay, so we know it's NFC North now. NFC North. Okay, so we got the Bears, the Vikings, the Packers, or the Vikings. Lions, Bears, Vikings, Packers. Like, I'm struggling to think of who the receivers are on these guys' teams that would be young. Like, I know Amon St. Brown. I think Romeo Doubs for the Packers is not 6'4". Is it Osborne? Is Osborne 6'4"? I think he's only 6'1". Oh, he's only 5'11". It's not on Minnesota.
I don't think it's on Green Bay either. I'm looking through. What about Chase Claypool?
Oh, he's on Chicago now. Dang it. He got traded to Chicago last year and I forgot. Darn it. Good one. All right, who are we starting with on the next one? Snyder was cash.
I don't know.
Defensive stars I can see not wanting to play for Del Taco and Ron. What baffles me is we don't have a superstar and we aren't paying a QB and we don't have any money. This obviously means we are paying bums and Jags way too much. I think you're underestimating guys like Jonathan Allen and Terry McLaurin. I think those guys are absolutely incredible. They're top tier studs. But nonetheless, I understand your overall point is that we are definitely spreading our money around rather than paying top dollar for Allen for superstars. I see your point is understood, and I think Deron Payne's a really, really good player as well. But they're more than Jags. But we don't have the Pat Mahomes. We don't have the super top tier guys. I see what you're saying, but that's fine. Anyway, sorry. Did I give you enough time?
Who, me?
Yeah. To pick up.
So this can be anybody. Let's go with Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan Allen. All right, we are not in the NFC East, but we're on the NFC. We are 28 years old, on offense, shorter than 6'1", because it's not yellow. Okay, so running back, Dalvin Cook?
And not on, so it's got to be offense, right? Yeah.
Ooh, Dalvin Cook is only 27. Darn it. Okay.
So not in the north.
Not in the north, so we either got the west or the south. Not a running back either, but we are an offense. So probably a receiver. A receiver in the west. It's 28 years old. Is it Cooper Kupp?
Could be New Orleans. Who's in the NFC South?
No, he's too tall. Is it? No, he's too short, I think. Actually, he might be 5'11". Is it Lockett? Oh, he's only 5'10". It is a receiver, not in the west. So we are in the south. Also, he's 30. I thought he was 28. Okay. So we're in the south. Oh, is it Godwin? Chris Godwin. Oh, nope. Not Godwin. Not on Tampa Bay.
So 6 foot, 28 years old, wide receiver.
Who's number 12 or 13? And not on Tampa. So we're either on the Falcons, the Panthers. The Falcons, the Panthers, or the Saints. Huh. Wow, another tough one. Is it... How old is Smith? Tyquan Smith. Not Tyquan Smith. Traquan Smith. He's 6'2". It's not him. So we're on the Panthers or the Falcons? Get Terry, bonafide QB. He's a superstar. I agree. Love him, dude.
6 foot.
Is it that Zacchaeus guy? How old is he? No, he's 25, but also only 5'8". So we are on the Falcons. So we're on the Falcons. Okay. So I know Drake London they just drafted. He's too young. Zacchaeus was their other guy. Shoot. Did they just pick up a receiver and I don't know it? Like, is it a guy that I should know, but I don't realize he's on Atlanta? And they're like, just 28 this offseason. List to me the receivers on Atlanta.
Hold on.
I think I would know it if I heard it.
Got Josh Allen, which is 6 foot but only 24. You got Jared Bernhardt at 6'1" and 25.
No, it's not
got
him.
Frank Darby, 6'1" and 25.
Ooh, no, it's not him. I like Frank Darby. I forgot they have him.
Rashawn Henry, 6'3", 25.
Oh.
Kadarrell Hodge, 5'11", 28.
Well, that's him. I'd never heard of this guy. Kadarrell Hodge. I've
Oh, I
literally
thought it was-
never heard of this dude. Who
I
the
didn't
heck
either.
is this?
Why did I think we were looking for a 6-footer? That's why I was looking past him.
Kaderol? I've never heard of this name in my life. He played for Cleveland a couple of years. He had 13 catches all last season. 202 yards and a touchdown. So he was basically a nobody. He went to PV A&M. I don't even know what that is. What's Prairie View A&M? Is where he went to school. Did he even play for them last year, or is he on the Browns last year?
Oh, I have no idea.
No, he was on their team last year. Just an absolute nobody that I had never heard of. If he was looks like an undrafted free agent as well. Okay, well, sometimes you learn somebody new. Anyone else feel bad for River? Yeah, that's a terrible room, right? Anyway, all right, that's a show.
It is a
Thank you
show.
to everybody in the chat. Hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to get some new ownership here shortly soon. But any last words there, J-Dubs?
No, I'm good. Just thanks to everybody for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good. All right, guys, hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hop in the Discord if you haven't already to talk some football. We'll be back next week, and we'll be live here on the channel with draft coverage. I'm sure Jairus will be here as well. We'll see who else wants to be live with us if they want to be. But we will be live on this channel on draft night. And
By the way,
most likely throughout the weekend.
2 weeks, the week after next, I'm going to be traveling up to Maryland, so there will not be a show. But
Okay.
going up for your youngest sister's graduation. So
Yes.
I will be seeing you in person in 2 weeks.
No, I feel bad they have Ritter. Too funny. All right, guys. Until next time.